Yo, what's up, everyone? I'm your host, Zenitsu, and you're listening to the Digi Talks podcast, the show that covers various topics from news to meta developments and everything in between for the fine folks who love the Digimon trading card game. Just as a quick reminder, I do try to stream this live over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, but fear not because it's always going to be uploaded as a YouTube video under the channel of Zenitsu, as well as various podcasting platforms like Spotify for your viewing and listening pleasure. So please feel free to do the whole social media doobly-doo thing and leave that rating, like, follow, subscribe, review, whatever, depending on the platform that you're listening on. It really does help support the podcast. Today I am back with Jay Stewart, and yeah, it's been a while, so I guess we're just gonna try to play catch up. So last time we left off, it was talking about BT22, our first impressions, what we're wanting and looking forward to out of the set and all that jazz. And then I did an episode with Mark, kind of just saying, hey, I need a break. So now I guess the break is over now that BT23 is going to be coming out. So that's going to be part of what we're going to be talking about today, is mostly just catching up and getting excited for BT23. So yeah, normally we would do meta stuff, but I decided I'm just going to cut the meta stuff out for the most part. We'll still talk about the meta, don't worry. But I'm doing like event reviews or event analyses on YouTube. So that's where the bulk of the meta talk is going to go, unless like we're talking more bigger picture, then that'll probably end up being here. And instead we're going to be replacing it with the anime segment because Digimon Beat Break, gosh, English, please. Digimon Beat Break is the newest anime season. Right now, we're 3 episodes in, and it's looking real promising. So, I know you got to do homework and catch up.
Yeah, I do. I was planning on watching it, but unfortunately, I got caught up in playing Time Stranger again. Obviously, I'll talk about that more once we get to actual other Digimon-related topics. But basically, from my understanding, what I've seen, I'm liking what I am seeing for the most part. I've been hearing a lot of good talks about it. I think the only minor, and I think the minor complaint I could say is because I did see the little clip that Bandai did post on YouTube, where it was like showing like how the Digivolution looks and everything now. I gotta say, it is kind of somewhat weird seeing them hitting the whole weird egg shape thing and then they're feeding it to the Digimon. I'm kind of used to like the Digivice being something that's not the Digimon eat, so to say, but it's like a very minor thing. So just probably get used to, and there's probably more going to be explained or I'm not seeing from that clip.
I mean, so from after watching the first 3 episodes, basically the little egg thing is like their AI companion. And basically Digimon are born from glitches in that companion. So when they go rogue is when they turn into like evil Digimon. And when they don't go rogue and they actually have a person that is going to support them, then they're a more tamed Digimon, I guess. Don't know too much about that as of right now. They're still kind of just doing a lot of like setup and exposition. But essentially, like, it feels like the idea behind it is the manifestation of everything in the past seasons, where it's just like, oh, I believe in the power of friendship, therefore you digivolve. Well, this is a more literal sense, where it's just like, hey, I'm going to basically put my energy into my Digivice. You are going to eat the Digivice and then digivolve. So we don't know how it's going to work with higher stages past just digivolving one stage. Because they introduced in episode 3 the fact that a Digimon could hold multiple eggs in it, but multiple people aren't going to be feeding it. So I don't know how digivolving past one stage is going to look like. Most likely it's just going to be the same thing where they just basically are fed enough energy and then they, boom, just skip to whatever stage that they're going to end up being in. That's my personal guess. But it does introduce a lot of interesting concepts that they could possibly take from the anime and put it into card form. So that's like my whole spin on it is like, okay, if the idea is like, it almost feels like linking in a way, but not really, because if you link like a level 3 with another level 3, it just makes a level 3 more powerful. Well, we've seen so far in the anime that they don't have to digivolve just because they were given energy. So maybe that can play into like that aspect in terms of like looking at it from a mechanical standpoint, taking lore and translating it into card form. So far it's interesting. It's just started. 3 episodes are out. 100% passes the 3 episode test. I would highly recommend watching them. We there's not really terribly too much to spoil with the first 3 episodes. It's like just mostly setup. So the first episode is when he meets his Digimon, gets into some conflict. Episode 2 is continued from episode 1, starting off with the conflict and kind of leading to some resolution. And then episode 3 is basically him learning more about the role that he is thrusted into, so to speak, and trying to figure out basically how to get his brother back, because it seems like the whole gimmick is they eat, like, their beat in a sense. So, like, their digital energy or whatever you want to call it, they just call it beat. So Digimon feed on beat to get stronger. So the rogue Digimon eat on normal people's beats, and then they go into like some cryo state. And if they're in that state for too long, then they kind of just die. That's what they're heavily implying. Very heavily implying. So that's kind of interesting. And one of the characters that got their beat stolen as of episode 3 got it back. So now everyone's all happy that, you know, they did a good job at saving somebody.
Yeah, the entire idea and plot with that definitely, honestly, it does sound really good. I mean, because unfortunately, I don't think, did we even have a plot for Ghost Game, so to say? It was just kind of Digimon are here, we're just investigating a weird anomaly kind of thing, and oh, it just so happens to be a Digimon. I think that was the plot
Well,
for
so
Ghost Game.
Ghost Games, they teased a lot of like higher level plot with the whole like Shadow Agumon thing and the whole Bakemon, or not Bukemon thing. So like they teased a bigger plot than what was actually there, and it was more so the mystery on how these Digimon are coming in and how we could stop it. So like um that was the bigger picture, was like, oh, how are these Digimon coming into the digital world, and now we need to stop them from doing that. And then there was that mystery that was set up that had like barely any payoff towards the end. They just wasted too much time with Monster of the Week stuff.
Right. Yeah. So to me, like, it definitely is a lot better start than I would say with Ghost Game. It's not that there was anything wrong with the Ghost Game. It's just that, like, Ghost Game definitely has its unique moments, because I think the when you see God, I'm Betamon, I think that's what his name is. Or, well, Gamemon's like fourth stage evolution. When you see him going into his ultimate form the first time and him going into his level 6 form, good moments, very good moments. But I mean, I can't really say a lot of that for a lot of the other episodes.
Um,
Oh, and then obviously his Dark Evolution too.
yeah. They already hinted at episode 3 in Beat Break that there is a possibility at a dark evolution or a darker side of feeding Digimon beats, because like, oh, if they're feeding off of the negative emotions, then obviously they're going to respond negatively towards that. So they already hinted that in Beat Break, which was kind of interesting. um but yeah, so like what happened with Ghost Games was they just took too long doing Monster of the Week stuff. So, like, if anyone actually pays attention to proper Digimon formula and how their stories are written and structured, usually at about 10 episodes is when they'll introduce, like, their champion form, and they'll continue Monster of the Week for, like, 20 episodes. Then, at around episode, like, 21 through, like, 35, 30, like episode 31 through 40, somewhere around that range, is when it's like super heavy plot. And then episode like 40 to the end is basically just like a roller coaster ride that leads up to the climax of the season. And then obviously one episode in post to kind of like mellow everything out and put a nice bow on it. So I suppose, like, we don't have a confirmed episode count for this, but there has not been a Digimon season that hasn't been above 45 episodes. Everything has been 45 to 50 episodes on average. And this is what makes Ghost Games like really sad to think about, is that show had like 70 episodes to tell a better story and completely failed at doing so. And it's just, it makes me sad. They had more time, more episodes, and didn't do anything with it. So that is unfortunate.
Yeah, so but I do think that, because I don't think Ghost Game was necessarily accessible for us in America right away. So the fact that we are even getting like this beat break on Hulu, like as the episodes are coming, like October so far has been like a really great month for Digimon, in all honesty. And the thing I also have to give credit on another thing with the Ghost Game, or not Ghost Game, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, with Beat Break, is that so far I do like the designs of Geckomon and this little bad thing called Cherupi or Cheropmon. I think that's how it's pronounced. Look, I think
Something
that
like
one's
that.
my favorite so far. Is that little bad guy?
Yeah, Wolvermon is so far very it's a cool design, but it's very unimpressive in everything it's done. Like, they introduced a Wolvermon as like one of the cleaners like early evolutions. So it's just like, okay, this thing is technically champion level, but like every time we've seen it so far, it just like dramatically underperforms, and I'm just like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign for that character in that card series. Like, if these are getting translated to cards, I'm not expecting Wolvermon to actually be anything strong.
Yeah, and then this fourth one here, the Barasimon, I don't know if that's supposed to be a rookie or not, because that definitely gives off vibes of being a champion, just based
Um,
on looks.
yeah, so the rookie form is like a little plush ball. Like, it's not really a plush ball, but like it's just a really big like lion dog type thing. So
Oh, Krugermon?
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that is the plus form. That is the I think it's a champion. I They had notes on this like before it released. I didn't pay much of attention because like I just want to experience it like as fresh as I possibly can. So I saw like all the designs visually, but I didn't like read on them too much because I want the anime to do that for me. Oh, and the anime is also on Crunchyroll. So if you have Hulu, Disney Plus, or Crunchyroll, you're able to watch Digimon, which is pretty good. Definitely way better than Ghost Games. That's for sure. It's not getting simuldubbed, so don't expect that. But we still don't have the dub for Ghost Games. So yeah, to be fair.
Yeah,
No,
because I think that it might be a little harder getting with the dub, since it's Ghost Game is kind of a mixed bag of what it is,
yeah.
possibly.
No, but October is like what I would probably call the biggest month in Digimon history in a very long time. Like, it is Digimonth in my perspective. Because of the fact that we're getting the anime. Then, as you already mentioned, Time Strangers came out. Then we have a new Digimon set for the TCG coming out. So, like, there's just a lot of buzz around Digimon right now, which is absolutely incredible. Cautiously optimistic. I would like Bandai to carry this hype forward, but realistic skepticism leads me to believe this is just an anomaly where a lot of things just so happen to come out in a singular month. Because Digimon content is usually pretty slow from Bandai, which is unfortunate. But hey, I mean, if we get like a year of Beat Break anime, and right now, Time Stranger is like absolutely killing it more than Pokemon Legends ZA, because I know that's like a lot of contention point and a lot of people like to see the infighting between Pokemon and Digimon still. So the
The fact
fact
that it's
that
even just work like Digimon is back in the ring of actually being discussed, it's like that's already good for me,
yeah,
honestly.
just more people talking about it means more people are aware of not only just the video game but the brand as a whole. So that's just, it's like awkwardly good publicity coming from like one of the worst miss ups on Game Freak's part, but that's their monkey to play around with. But no, so I have not beaten Time Strangers. I guess like before we actually talk about the TCG, let's just get Time Strangers out of the way because you and I both have been playing it. I've been playing it on stream over on YouTube slash Zenitsu. So if you want to see my Let's Play, it is being archived in VOD form, like long streams. Um, so feel free to check out my terrible playthrough. Um, and I think I'm like a third of the way done. I don't actually know how like long the game is. I am just about to meet Divermon for the second time after the Titans took over the digital world. So that's currently
You
where
are
I am.
actually 50% then.
Oh, I'm at the 50% mark. Okay.
Yeah, I know that because I'm playing it on PlayStation, and when I hover over Time Stranger, it tells me how far I progressed into the game. So you are like darn near at the 46/50% mark, actually,
Okay.
according to what PlayStation has told me. So
I mean, that's some indicator cuz I have no idea how long this game actually is, and I'm trying not to grind, and if I do grind, it's off stream. And it's not like the grinding, I feel like realistically, like it matters, but it doesn't really matter because there's just way more efficient ways to grind in the end game. So it's like I just need my Digimon to be barely strong enough to handle me through. But I've been thoroughly impressed with how good Time Strangers is because like it did something that surprised me, which is actually make difficult boss fights. So most of the time in RPGs, you could just like ignore a lot of the mechanics and just meander your way through the game, which like I like that it's mindlessly fun, but like when I was expecting that for Digimon and it started beating my face in, I was just like, "Oh, I have to actually like put thought and strategy into behind like some of these not only Digimon choices but attack choices and like pattern recognition in terms of how I'm going to be beating this boss." So, like, it's not the easiest game in the world, but it's not a super difficult one if you're paying attention. And I kind of like that.
yeah, so like for me, I think I said it. I'm 95% of the way there. Like I literally just had to do the final boss, but I'm not doing that right now because I'm actually doing like I practically have every side quest unlocked for me right now. I'm not sure if there's any more after you beat the boss or not. But practically, so that's kind of what I've been doing to try to increase my agent rank even more, so I could try to get some more of these Mega Plus forms, the Alphamon or Yukin, for example, just to like kind of name a few things of what my goal is right now. And I'm playing it on hard mode, and to me, I think it's when we fought Titanmon that second time when he's riding the guy, the weird skeleton. I don't even know what you call that weird skeleton chimera thing. Like
Yeah,
that's when the
it's a
game
horse.
all of a sudden, yeah, because I was using because I purchased a collector's edition, so I was having like bond of brave or bond of friendship and bond of bravery kind of carry me through for most playthrough, and then all of a sudden I'm going against that guy. I'm like, whoa, hold on a sec here. Now I need to stop playing, pushing it on auto battle, and I got to pay attention now.
Yeah. No, the game is absolutely immaculate, and I know we're getting a whole Time Stranger set in BT24, and we're already getting some promos. So it'll be interesting to see what actually does end up making it into the game, what decks are going to be supported, because as we're seeing with BT23, because Cyber Sleuth, Hacker's Memories in the first game are pretty, they're semi interconnected and interwoven. It
Yeah, because I
definitely
mean,
it definitely feels from a mechanical standpoint that they share a lot of common DNA. So, and Time Strangers does not share mechanically that DNA in a TCG sense.
Yeah,
Because,
'cause based on what I remember with Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, they take place in the exact same universe at the exact same time. Like at one point, if you're playing Hacker's Memory, you actually see your previous character run past you at one point. You don't see the face, but you see the outfit, and you actually do go on a mission against like a Growlmont. Like one of the missions, the main storyline missions, where you're going against a Growlmont, and it's like it runs away, so you got to go after it, and then you just so happen to see uh, you from the other game going against it. So, like, I can understand the correlation with like how those two BT22 and 23 are interconnected. This one is like, yeah, they take place in like same locations, but I don't know if it really is fair to say that they are the same at the same time.
no, they're different games, and obviously, based on the information we have on the set for BT23, it's trying a slightly different play style. Because not all of the BT23 rookies are going to be doing the whole Digivolving. The BT23 rookies are trying to set up the Tamers a little bit more than the uh, BT22 Cyber Sleuth stuff. And then on top of that, you also have the options. Those those options are absolutely huge for how certain decks for BT23 would want to play. Because some of them interact more directly with the options and are able to use the options. So that's kind of cool. And then I think the deck diversity in terms of the sub archetypes in BT23 is a little bit more spread out than in BT22. So, but yeah. Speaking of BT22, I guess we should kind of catch up on that because we gave our first initial thoughts and impressions, and now we've kind of played with and or against BT22 decks, and we're even as far as getting past EX10. So we have two whole sets worth of stuff to talk about because we had the ban and restriction list, and we had just a lot. So did we cover the ban and restriction list? I don't think we did. Hold on.
No, we did. I think
We
the ban and restriction list came out after the break.
Yeah. The last thing we talked about was our wish list, which was not entirely far off from what happened. So I guess I should pull that up. And then we could talk about it and basically how it really didn't do anything. It did and it didn't. So world.digimoncard.com. Then we go rules. Then we scroll down to is it announcements? Announcements?
Announcements
And
825.
yep, ban restriction list. All right. So, because this is already known for months at this point, just going over it really quickly. Saya and Co. got banned. Good.
Deserved.
Yep, it needed to. It was just enabling too many degenerate things, and every single time we find something new, what they're gonna increase the
Restrict paired variants.
yeah. So like you'll have a singular card with like 15 different cards paired banned with it. It's just like no, just it's easier just to get rid of it. So well deserved. Gravity Crush, Parabolic Junk, both got hit. Zero cost options that gain memory for basically next to no input or effort. Yeah, kind of stupid. Tropical Venom is still on the list, but that at least requires the opponent to have something. So it's a little bit more fair, but I think that card should still probably have gotten hit just for like safety's sake. Like who cares if though nothing's going to currently abuse the card, it doesn't mean it's still not a poorly thought out design in terms of what it's doing. Like, it's
Yeah,
the
because I
same
mean,
effect as Palmon out of Raising. So, like, what's to say you can't just, like, slot that into those types of decks using Palmon and then just magically gain 4 memory out of nowhere just because the opponent has a Digimon? Like, Gallantmon's already just deleting Digimon and gaining free memory anyway, so, like, what's the difference?
well, the other thing to me is like if Parabolic Junk was a preemptive hit, you might as well have just done Tropical Venom too on top of it.
Right, zero cost option, like anything costing nothing is already inherently dangerous in terms of design space, and it still shocks me that they played how dangerous that was so early because those cards were bound to be broken due to just power creep, like flat out. Because the game's only gotten faster and faster, and the fact that, like, oh, we used to operate off of the assumption that we had 3 memory. Now we're operating under the assumption that we have 1 memory. So, like, these types of options were just inherently dangerous. Um, then Royal Knights of the Purge was the big hit to Royal Knights. Well deserved, but Royal Knights is still good, and the fact that they got support in BT23 might end up negating the fact that this card got hit because Yggdrasil gives Rush anyway. So, like, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the reasons I heard that Royal Knights of the Purge got paired or like got restricted was because of Omnimon X anybody from what was it, BT 2021?
It was BT20.
Yeah, practically it's like they would just keep looping it by playing this card to get him back out. Oh, he's got rush and now I can swing, and he doesn't have on plays, so he has one attacking, so it does everything that it wanted to do anyways. And it just tuck it back under, keep it safe, and you just play another one of those royal. It was just a constant loop thing of so much benefit with just those 2 cards alone. Is the reason from what I understood.
Yeah, their explanation is because of Royal Knights with non on play effects. So, like, when attacking effects is, like, incredibly powerful. And Royal Knights of the Purge was not well future. Like, it was well future proof because it doesn't give them their on plays. But if they don't have on plays anyway, and because it has Rush, they could just immediately attack and get a when attacking a trigger that's way stronger than an on play. Yeah, that's already inherently broken. So, that's why Royal Knights got hit. Garuda X got hit because of Growlmon X's sins. I don't. I mean, granted, yes, free rush and like a generic free X antibody rush is like already kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Obviously they're worried about yeah, they were worried about the rush factor, so it's mostly just how easy and generic a level 5 that gives rushes. That's why Garudamon got hit, but we only came up with that, and it was only problematic because of Growlmon enabling it. So, like, it was already strong, but Birds as a whole wasn't really doing anything, and it wasn't until Growlmon X that brought attention to the card. So this
Yeah,
was just, yeah, this
it
was
was
to
an
get
engine
around
that
that.
broke it.
Yes. Um, and then speaking of engines that broke cards, you had EX3 Growlmon that got hit because generic ability to sacrifice something and give security tech plus is really good. So it just allowed Gallantmon decks to OTK pretty easily, and spoiler, they still can OTK pretty easily. Because they took away this tool, but they left the free rushes in. So, you know, hey, let's just play this Digimon that costs 0 and has rush, and then we'll delete it to play another card that costs 0 and has rush. After Gallantmon X already hit for a metric fuck ton of damage, and then you also have Omnimon X antibody to just deal another free damage that for essentially 0 actual cost. Like, so hitting this Growlmon, yes, slowed it down, but it really was not a very impactful hit. The Guilmon from EX4 was more impactful because free rush bodies is incredibly broken, as we currently have just learned with Garudamon X, and Royal Knights of the Purge. Like, they really just do not like the free accessibility of rush, and Guilmon enabled that pretty easily for everyone. And it was just part of the degenerate combo where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna die and then play out this Guilmon that has Rush and then Digivolve up and then die and then play the Guilmon up out that gives itself Rush and then do it all over again. Like that's literally why it was partially called Loop to begin with.
Yeah, I understand the reason they hit it, but because you play multiple of them, so now you're only able to play one rush body, so that's good. But to me, it's kind of the whole Matt Ashita situation to me. It's like you restrict it to one. It's a purple card. It goes in the trash. It's what they want to do. They're gonna get it in the trash one way or another. It to me, just once you see it there, that's all you kind of need. I mean, granted, yes, you're not able to play out the four of them to just rush all at once, but I feel like there's still ways you can theoretically break this card to try to loop it in rush or something in some way. Because I was even thinking and trying to theory craft the idea of trying to mix it with the BT4 Black War Growlmon, because its effect is you strip three sources and then you play a level three out. So it's like you play out the Guilmon for free. Oh, there's multiple cards in the trash. Now this Digimon stack, well, the Digimon itself gains Rush, so I could build up a whole new stack, do another Black War Growlmon if you got the memory, which, I mean, a little harder to do, so to say now, but just the theory and idea of it is how I was thinking, and a constant way to loop it.
I mean, yeah, no, it's just an incredibly broken card. Like that, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And purple as a color is like incredibly like broken. So we might talk a little bit about the meta later, but in case anyone currently is curious how many decks are actually abusing the Growl engine, as far as like decks that have done well in the current meta environment, there's bare minimum 5 or 6 decks that abuse the same exact engine, and that should tell you the overall strength of how good that engine is. And that should also raise some ginormous red flags that, like, hey, even with these cards being neutered, the engine is still incredibly strong and probably one of the strongest things we've seen in a long time. um and speaking of incredibly strong things, Metal Garurumon from EX1 that got hit because free memory gain. Like, so there's a repeated pattern in terms of like what actually gets on the ban restriction list. Free memory is definitely one of them. So the fact that Garurumon had like a combo with Alter S where you could play out the level 5, then you could play out a Tamer and then Digivolve for free, and then you basically just printed free memory is what made this card like incredibly strong. Because other than that, like the when attacking ability is just okay. But again, it's the free memory gain that allows you to do more things, and because the game is in a more powerful state than when that card was initially designed, yeah, it definitely was ripe for abuse. So anything that says gain memory that's old is like actually like very ripe for abuse because they were not well future proofed. Either that or the game was just incredibly power crept. One of the two. You choose.
Yeah, because I think the EX1 Metal Garurumon, it was because of Alter S was the combo or something like that, which was
Yeah,
the
because
constant loop
Alter
from that.
S. Yeah, because Alter S would spit out the level 5. The level 5 would let you play a Tamer for free because you had played a Greymon. So you just played the level 6, and then you Digivolve for 0 into the Metal Garurumon, and then you just gain like 4 to like, or not really 4, 2 to 4 memory usually, which in the current state of the game is very much quite a lot.
Yeah, so obviously good hit for that because to me the whole looping like that, it's never a good thing for a card game.
Yeah, that was a preemptive hit, by the way. Like, we had maybe 1 or 2 weeks of Alter-esque looping combos, and Bandai already said, like, hey, we really just don't like that. And I appreciate it, but I need more of that because they let a lot of things just go and slide that's, like, incredibly hyper degenerate in terms of, like, the things that we could do in the TCG. Like Sakuyamon, which is why they hit Sakuyamon before they're buffing Sakuyamon. So Sakuyamon from BT19 got hit. Consistency, free playing stuff is again incredibly strong, which is why Digivolution Plugin S got hit because free Digivolution. Like anything free is already very dangerous, especially if you're able to like go literally from a level 3 to a level 7 Digimon and still keep memory. Like incredibly busted, which is why Chaosmon Volderarm got choice restricted with Taumon and Sakuyamon X because, you know, uh, Chaosmon Volderarm is another level 7 Floodgate outside of Shine Greymon Ruin mode that the deck was hyper abusing to basically do what Mirage wanted to do, where you go up into a high level Digimon and then Floodgate the opponent out of the game. Um, so yeah, I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, that's all of the major updates to the format. And as we played through BT21 and EX10, um, from a data perspective, Royal Knights and Sakuyamon were quelled, but the fact that the Growl and then obviously the Alter S, the Garurumon Alter S combo was basically removed from the table, not even playable. There really wasn't that much of a slowdown or impact on the format because Phoenixmon is still topping, even with the restriction, to both the Growlmon stuff and its own stuff. Gallantmon still running absolutely rampant. Megidramon even made a comeback because Megidramon took like a small little break because people realized how broken the engine is and other things. But Megidramon is still just one of the better things you could do in it. So yeah, Megidramon made a comeback. Um, then you have other decks that are abusing that engine, like Lord Nightmon, although Lord Nightmon's definitely on the lower end of the tiered spectrum. Um, I literally just made like a video on this. Then BT22 introduced a new Omnimon with new Omnimon tools. So the fact that we have like a more dedicated Warp Digivolve into Omnimon and then Omnimon just steamroll the game is incredibly strong. Machinedramon came out in EX9, and BT22 gave DMs probably the single best card they could have ever hoped for, which was Vademon. Anyone who's listened to my channel knows like how absolutely cracked Vademon is as a card. That card is disgusting on how good it is. Single-handedly made DMs viable. By the way, single-handedly, because before that, DMs really wasn't doing anything. So that's kind of funny there. And then as far as just some other stuff, we got more Galaxy support, which we really didn't need because Galaxy won Worlds, mind you. And now seeing a good deck that was already being played for a year and a half, just magically get better is like, ooh, that's kind of dangerous. Same thing with like purple hybrids. You got no new tools like Imperial, but it's still just one of the best decks around. I think the only like new innovative deck was Genku Turtle. And I really wish we didn't have Genku Turtle because making all of your stuff super immune is kind of lame. And then yeah, so that's the majority of what BT22 did was just update a couple of decks and make the same stuff we were already playing better. So,
Yeah.
how has anyone at your locals played like CS?
I have not unfortunately seen anybody play CS. Like the closest I've seen has been one of our players. He really loves playing Omnimon deck because that's what got him his Nats invite for the Texas event, and so he was definitely running the new Nokia from 22 and running some of those Agumon packages. And I'm pretty sure I did see him playing the new Omnimon as well. Keep in mind, this is from 2 weeks ago when I was last there. And I'm trying to think what else, something else new that I saw. I saw somebody was actually playing with the EX10 with the whole Black War deck. And I will say, I'm honestly kind of surprised how good the BT22 Yuki is actually in that because God is that menacing.
Yeah, like BT22 had a lot of good tools, but it's like what I would define as like an update set where it's just like the decks that they wanted us to play were just not good. And by not good, I mean not effective enough for the meta. They're still really fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not fun, or they're not strong. It's just in the grand scheme of things, from a competitive mindset. Again, that's the lens that I'm coming from. So sorry if I say something is garbage or not good or whatever, because like if it doesn't perform, it doesn't perform, and it's not performing for a particular reason. Doesn't mean it's not fun, but like again, competitive player mindset. Um, yeah, BT22 just updated things, and it didn't actually bring us much new things. And I think like BT23 is definitely going to try to do a better job at bringing us new things, but unfortunately, because like how those sets are designed, it gives us like a wide breadth of various different support tools for pre-existing decks that are most likely going to overshadow the way that they were intended to be played with the CS stuff.
Yeah, because I was kind of looking through BT23, and I mean, it's not trying to be a Debbie Downer. It's just kind of I'm looking at it. It's like I'm not seeing anything that stands out in too particular to what I like. Now, it doesn't mean that there's nothing here that you could play. I mean, it's just based on what how I personally feel. It's just to me, I don't know if there's. I mean, there is a new Sakuyamon. I'm not sure if that actually
No, that's for
is going.
Zexion.
Okay, so yeah, I mean,
I
trying
mean,
to
but
think
like
here. I mean,
Sukuyamon could try to play with it. It's just definitely more of a Zexion card. And as far as like, I know we're getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves, but we'll wrap up EX10 real quick because EX10 was, from my perspective, complete and utter garbage. The only competitive thing that came out of it was literally rocks and minerals, and it's just a new OTK deck. So like
oh
it's
yeah,
just a new faster OTK deck. So it's just like, well, of course this is going to be good because it's a new fast OTK deck that actually can play well into this current environment because it's part black and it has a lot of anti-meta tools to,
and memory
anti
manipulation.
yeah, and memory manipulation because as we learned, cheating on memory as much as humanly possible is like borderline broken, and this deck does that in strides. Um, but yeah, so like Black War was definitely looking like there was a lot of very strong and reasonable things inside of EX10. Um, but a lot of it was just not that great. I will say the Black War stuff is like incredibly messed up, like powerfully messed up. I want to use the other word, the F bomb, but like I'm trying not to. But yeah, no, the Black War stuff was egregiously messed up. Like from a design perspective, those cards are strong AF, and it goes to show like if that deck's not actually doing anything and those cards are incredibly powerful, like how much more powerful is the actual metagame? Because like you look at Black War and it's I think like a lot of the power comes from the level 5 because the level 5 just similarly to what's his face? Edamon, he just forces ace baiting to a whole new level, and that card's just egregiously stupid at setting it up. And then Black War is one of the few aces in the game that has built-in protection on top of Tamer removal, which is like incredibly premium. So like the only issue with Black War is his damage output. He just doesn't have the ability to close out games. So like he does all this strong stuff, he controls the field, and then he just doesn't close out games. So against good meta decks that are able to move like 3 times faster than him, it's just like, okay, you deleted my thing, whatever. I reasonably just don't care because I'm just gonna walk all over you because my setup is incredibly more efficient than anything you could do. And like Black War has a lot of tools, or like Greymon has a lot of tools to try to speed itself up or make its setup better, but at the end of the day, it just feels like it's lacking the actual damage output to actually compete with a lot of the top dogs because the protection on Black War is absolutely insane.
Yeah, because I think one of the Black War's biggest problems is it has too many good it has too many good top ends. What I mean by that is like I think there was EX4 we had a guy literally his effect read that at the end of your turn you could Digivolve Gaiamon into a Gaiamon as a small example, and you could use that with the Gaiamon from BT9 or BT10 maybe. It's the one where it's like blitz and it has security tag +1. Doing that, you also strip the top card as well of your opponent's. It has the damage output, but trying all of these good elements into the deck is like it doesn't have enough space. Personally, that is me. So
I mean, like, it's weird because you do have all of these branching paths for how you could approach Greymon, but like the funny thing is none of them are actually that great. And I'm not saying like they need to have like this is partially why the Greymon X antibody needs to stay on the ban restriction list because that card would just absolutely make Greymon even more cracked than it reasonably needs to be. Like it would increase the speed to probably be above where the rest of the entire game is because the rest of the entire game can't evo their level 5s for one. And at this point, now you could just basically negate that cost so they could evo their level 5s for basically free, which we still have to put some effort in to basically every other deck to achieve a similar output. So like, yeah, it's part of the reason why that card can't come back is because of how good and how toolboxy Greymon is as a whole. But the fact that those are like the only competitive things, and even then, Black War is seeing splashes as a singular card rather than his deck actually doing well, really is telling like where the current metagame actually is. Because like Lucimon, sorry Lucimon fans, that deck is awful. That deck is legitimately terrible. I don't know how anyone like I feel bad whenever I load up Digimon Card Game Online and I face off against a Lucimon player. I'm just like, oh, honey, please. You do not know what you're in for. Like, good players know how to play against that deck because you can, like, the opponent controls how Lucimon's effects work. You are not, like, you as the Lucimon player are not in control of your cards. That's why Lucimon is a bad deck, is because you don't have the ability to trigger things that need to be triggered. So it's just like, oh, do you sacrifice your Digimon or let me recover? No, I'll let you recover. I'm going to hit for 6 checks. Go ahead, have a 6 security. It literally doesn't do anything. The best things that Lucimon did get, though, was the speed boost from the Lucimon that can just immediately raise itself, paired up with the egg that just gets you a memory and discards a card, on top of the option that just gives your Digimon, like, raid and piercing, and then you could also make an attack from the trash without suspending. Like, that card's incredibly cracked. But outside of that, Lucimon is, like, awful. Dark Masters, more annoying than good, because, like, you just try to ace bait the opponent, and if they're able to do enough damage fast enough, then, like, they kind of just crumble. Like, they're this weird control deck that's just really mediocre at what it's doing. Like, if you're going to play that style of deck, you could just play Demon Lords or Royal Knights. Like, there's no reason for you to use the deck the way it is, and it's just annoying, and it's just stally, and it's, for a competitive player, it's just not good. It's not good. For a casual player, it's just straight up annoying. And then, what else really came out in EX10 that's worth talking about? Like, there really didn't seem like there was that many great things. I mean, like
yeah,
Beelzemon's still in his perpetual state of I'm just okay. Similar to like Black War, good but not meta changing.
I mean, I know there's a new Link thing, but I don't know about you, but nothing about the whole new Link Digimon have been catching my eye, have been impressive. I don't even think they've done anything, and they still haven't after like there's gonna be more support for links in BT23, and it's just kind of how many sets has it been since links? Like BT21, 22,
Yeah, the rest of the year is gonna
like
have links. Every single set for the rest of the block is gonna have links. Like it's gonna have a link line, and like Atmon is like an absolute travesty in card design. It is exactly what you don't want to do. It's how you make a bad archetype. And it's not necessarily Atmon's fault. It's just they were designed incredibly poorly. Like And I'm not saying from a power perspective, like, oh, it's so poor that it's like incredibly broken, right? No, it's like, no, you designed this to be bad on purpose, and it makes me sad. I have plenty of soapboxes on both stream VODs and a whole video dedicated to why Etmon is a complete and utter failure. And it's mostly because of the app fuse mechanic. Spoiler. So at least like Deusmon is barely playable because he's the only Appmon deck that can basically just not need to app fuse. So like I know that's really weird. Like, oh, linking in app fuse, that's the whole gimmicks and mechanics of it. But yeah, the deck is better for not doing that, which is why hero apps is still the best way to play Appmon. And it's specifically just for Gaiamon's line because it also is a hero trait. And what's the hero stuff doing? Reducing its Digivolution cost, so it's actually a manageable evolution cost. So yeah, take that for what you will. On like Atmon and linking and fusing, it's just a hot mess. It's not functional, unfortunately. And BT23 is looking to be no different. In fact, it's probably looking to be on the same power level as Ornismon. Or not Ornismon. The Mucimon's level 6. It's playing on the same level as Mucimon. I think it's like stronger than Mucimon, but definitely weaker than Gaiamon and way weaker than Deusmon. But yeah, EX10 as a whole literally didn't do much of anything outside of rocks and a couple of tech cards, which is sad. Real sad, but that's just the reality of it. Now we could go on to BT23. So yeah, BT23. I don't know what to say because I don't know how the decks are going to impact the game because I'm sure everyone's talking up a storm about Hoodie Loop. Like, nobody can stop talking about it. It might be the Myotismon, where it looks incredibly scary and dangerous, and just loops inherently are degenerate and unfun. So the fact that Hoodie Mon has a loop and has a deck a whole like centered around it is just kind of annoying from concept, but it could be like Myotismon where it just doesn't do anything because it takes too long.
Yeah. Um, Two cards that, well, one archetype and one card that does kind of stand out to me. Based just on a quick look. I know it's not going to do anything, but I'm glad to see that there is going to be more royal base support. I actually did kind of like the idea of what the deck was trying to do when it was first introduced, and I thought it was a really unique kind of way of trying to use your security. And so seeing more support of it, again, I know it's not going to do anything, but I just like the fact that there is more support for it, finally. It looks like there's also an Examon here, and so I'm just doing a quick read of this. Practically, you suspend 5 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. None of your opponent's Digimon can unsuspend until the next turn. One of the unfortunate parts about the effect, because it's not targeting the Tamers also, since Tamers are really important. But it does say when an opponent's security stack is removed from the trash, trash one of their option cards in the battle area, then delete one of their suspended Digimon or Tamers. So we have more option removal and Tamers in Xmon now, so that might actually be something kind of interesting, potentially. It's a level 7, though, so it's going to take a moment to build up to that.
Yeah. I mean, Examon has a whole deck dedicated to him, and I think this does change Examon's deck. Obviously, Royal Knights probably is just going to abuse this card because it's just incredibly good at what it's doing. So, like, that's the big problem is, like, Royal Knights literally just got nerfed because of how dumb and degenerate it kind of was being. And now that it gets more support, it's basically going to ignore the limitations that were just placed on it. And we're going to go right back to being dumb and degenerate in various different ways because now the toolbox for Royal Knights is even bigger. That's like my only issue with it is like how one was CS supposed to play with it. They weren't. It was supposed to be played in Examon. And two, Examon's not going to be good enough to actually use it. So now it's just going to be end up being played in Royal Knights as just another incredibly strong card to use. So yeah, it's just really weird because it's like for every good thing in terms of like how unique this card is or what deck it could go into, it's just going to end up funneling itself back into one of the top tier decks. So it's like Gallantmon's a really good card. Gallantmon's already a top tier deck. He didn't need that card. So yeah, Gallantmon's going to abuse that card, and then Royal Knights could also abuse that card. CS is never going to play that card ever. And then similar things to a lot of the other Royal Knights. It's like I'm just better off playing Royal Knights as a whole. Oops. I'm trying to load
I mean,
up,
there's
but
some,
computer's being weird. There we
I
go.
know there's some more Eater support, but I don't know if it like I don't even think Eaters has an end game like a like a boss Digimon
So
for them yet, do they?
Eater's endgame was you're supposed to use your Mother Eater to play out your other Mother Eaters once you had enough sources underneath, and then just delete multiple things and swing with rush bodies. And then they're kind of like if you were to take Reaper, like D Reapers, and mix it with hybrids. And that's kind of Eater's playstyle, where it's just like, okay, when it dies, it goes under the Eater, and then you play out these Tamers, and then the Tamers can digivolve into Eaters themselves, and like you're supposed to kind of like chip, aggress, and defend like all at the same time, and then Mother Eater's just supposed to come out with a whole bunch of herself, and then just swing for rush bodies. So it is a very weird playstyle that gets support, but I don't know if that's actually going to be that great. I think like Eater Bit is really good. King Drazel's really good for the deck because that's just more rush. Rush Blocker Reboot Raid is like insane to give something. Then you have Eater Legion, which is okay. Like their cards are okay, but the deck was already so below the power curve that I mean it wasn't that far below the power curve. It's just like if you're playing that play style, again, you have two objectively better decks that are doing that, and you're just playing Eaters for flavor, which I'm not discrediting anyone from doing. That's not the point. Like you can have your flavor, it's just unfortunately from a competitive perspective, there's just no reason to ever play the deck, especially since Royal Knights literally just got better. Royal Base is still kind of bad. Like, obviously the cards want to be played with like Zexen. But Royal Base is still kind of just medium. The Tiger Vestmon trying to OTK is kind of funny though. I will say that. What else do we have? Apps is bad. CS uses mostly just hoodie stuff. Oh, Jessmon. Jessmon's incredibly cracked. So, like, this again is why Royal Knights of the Purge needed to go, is because the new Jessmon has a when digivolving, when attacking ability. So, if you play that out from your Royal Knights of the Purge, like, you could just swing and then immediately get all the benefits of this card, which is just playing a token. And then you also get to, I think you get a swing with it too. The fact that this card also has rush is kind of nuts and silly. Yeah, no, the Jessmon's like incredibly good. It's arguably the best SR card in the set, like unironically. Yeah, Mastimon got support. Mastimon support. They finally have partition. So Mastimon's actually like something we could consider playable because she has partition now. She was already really good before, like she sneaks in every now and then, but like she really just was lacking, and partition plus barrier really makes up for that in strides. Like the card's incredibly strong.
Yeah, it is unfortunately locked behind the uh, secret rare kind of slot, along with the Muri from the previous set. So it's like just only adding more to its expensive price point or price lock.
Oh yeah, it's like all force, like unnecessarily expensive just because a very good portion of its cards are secret rares and super rares. So it's just like, that's unfortunate. Um We got CS Dark Animals. Dark Animals is not going to do anything, trust me. I'll save you time and effort there. Um, Ghosts, unfortunately, I don't think Doulahan's good. It really just depends on the incorporation of the Tamer because the Tamer gives rush. So like that's really what the deck needs because what it wanted to do was like go up into a big body, die, go one level down, digivolve back up, and then it really couldn't do anything once its Digimon died because it didn't have rush. So like this is where like rush is just incredibly messed up as a mechanic and where they give it and how they give it. And so far like it's very clear that they don't like it, but they print it anyway, which is funny. Like it's such a double standard. So like Violet, when one of your Digimon digivolves into a ghost trait, you get a suspender and give something rush. So it's just like, yeah, you have a tamer that is just inherently giving your stuff rush. So that way you level 7 could die, go into a level 6, go back into a level 7, then rush, or your level 6 is going to die, go to a level 5, then digivolve into a level 6 and give that rush. And then everything good has security attack +1. So it's like, oh, yeah, I could just rush you down off of the usage of a single body because my bodies are replacing themselves. It's like doing what Megidramon wants to do, but on steroids with a tamer setup. So I guess that's the weakness, is it needs the tamer. So time will tell on how good that's gonna be. But yeah, no. I think Zexion is cute, but I don't think Zexion's gonna be good. It's just a spin-off CS deck that basically just tries to play Megazoo. So I think it's cute, but I don't think it's great.
I mean, we do have some of.
Yeah, we got
It does look like.
Belfmon X antibodies, just a, I don't know. His deck's already awkward as is compared to a lot of the other Demon Lord decks, so I don't have a whole lot of faith he's gonna be good. But 70% of the set is CS stuff that also can be combined with other stuff, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do also introduce Time Stranger cards as well. I think they're supposed to be promo box toppers, if I'm understanding this correctly.
I think so.
Because there's a Minervamon, a Marukimon, and also Titamon. Then we got 3 of the tamers or the characters from the game. Hiroko being one of them. See, if I remember correctly, Simmons, Dr. Simmons is also in here, and Asana.
Asuna, yeah.
Asuna, yeah. Asuna looks like it's going to be Three Musketeers support, so that's going to be interesting. I doubt it's going to like. It's not that I'm trying to bash Three Musketeers, but like, it hasn't been able to do anything yet. So it's good. If this is hinting that there might be support for it more in 24, that's going to be interesting to see.
It will be. I think like the big thing is when a deck gets support, the thing that I always ask myself is this just trying to keep the status quo, or is this solving an issue that the deck had? Because if a struggling deck is able to solve its issues, then it actually can turn from something unplayable to playable. But if it's just continuing and keeping the status quo and it's not actually improving or elevating the deck that much, other than like, oh, now it can enact its mediocre game plan maybe a little bit better. Like, that doesn't change the fact that its game plan is mediocre. So it's not really improving. Like, it's an improvement, but it's not the improvement it needs.
Right.
So looking at like Asuna for Three Musketeers cards, it really is not improving the deck by any metric because all it's doing is just drawing and discarding and then deleting a level 3 Digimon. So like, sure, the level 3 could be pretty relevant on making your options better because now they can hit their proper targets more cleanly. But like, I don't know. I don't think that was really the big issue that was holding the deck back.
Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
Yeah, it's like somebody said in my comment section when I was going over Chronicles. They were just like, yeah, this doesn't solve the issue that Chronicles has, so it doesn't change what the deck is really trying to do. And I'm just like, good point. Very fair. Very valid. And that's like an honest take. It's just like I'm highlighting an underrated and underperforming deck, and they got a promo that supports them, and the promo doesn't actually make the deck better. It just recontextualizes the deck. So I totally get it. I hate the fact that there's a whole bunch of Time Strangers promos. Like, to be honest, I really hate how Bandai does promos. It's not a new thing. I really do. Uh yeah. I hate promos. So I think that's for the most part the majority of BT23. Like, I know there's still probably a lot of like nicher stuff that we could talk about it, where it's just like, oh, but you have Beastkin support. It's like cool, yeah. You have Justimon support. It's like, yeah, that's right. What is Justimon doing?
It's doing the
Exactly.
same thing it's been doing.
Right.
So it's like kind of
Exactly.
no surprise.
Right. It's just like, okay, it's more support, it's accelerating the deck, but the deck was already like 3 steps behind that. Like, it turns it into something reasonable rather than unplayable. And like, I guess maybe that's the whole point. So like, that's why I need to see how this set is going to actually shape up in the competitive environment, because literally outside of Hoodie Loop, nothing, and like nothing new is really catching my eye in terms of like, that's something I need to try right now. It feels like, I'll wait till it's like 10 cents a card and then buy it all. Like, that's kind of the waiting room that I'm in. I mean, sure, like Hoodiemon's probably going to be expensive, and so is Mastimon, because one, waifu tax times two, and two, Hoodie Loop requires 4 hoodies, where Mastimon, well, Mastimon has a slew of different Mastimons you could at least use. So you're not hard locked into BT23 one, although Partition is so good that I would probably want to play this as the uh main level 6. But yeah, I don't really know where this meta is going to end up, because right now we're seeing good results with Jessamon early on. Actually, what's Japanland doing? Hold on, because we do have like Japanland stuff to look at. So, right now, Gallantmon, Mastimon, Bagra Army are like the hot things in Japan. Then you have Beelzebub.
Sakura.
Yeah, yeah, Bagra Army.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah, Japan's really weird with their stuff. I will 100% say that. They're absolutely wild on what they tend to play. I'm just like, Bagra Army it got support in EX10,
Yeah, I did.
and it just looked barely okay. I was just like, okay, but Japan is just all in on it. They're just like, no, man, Bagra Army's the way. It's right now one of the top contending decks. And I'm just like, in your 6-person local, yeah, go, sure, I'll believe it's a good deck. Um, but what else are they playing right now in BT23? So they're playing Beelzebub, Eaters, Royal Knights, Jessamon, Fenry Lucamon? Is that what this is? Yeah, Fenry Lucamon. Plants and Fairies. I love how the auto translate was foodie, but it's hootie. That's funny. They're playing Blue Armors. So Magnamon, because there is a new Magnamon in the set. Examon, Sun and Moon, Omnimon, Purple Hybrid, Sukuyamon, Lucamon, Rocks and Minerals, Dark Masters, Royal Base, Gamma, DM, CS, Adventures, Demon Lords, Belphamon. So they have like a lot of like random stuff on their lower end of the spectrum, but like the decks that have more attention were the ones I mentioned earlier. Mastermon's got a ton of attention in Japan. Yeah, same with Gallantmon. But that's because Gallantmon literally just got better. I don't know why they decided to make one of the best decks better. It's beyond me. I mean, I know how it happened. I just don't like to admit that it happened.
It definitely is weird since there's what they had like three cards to try to hit Galamon slash uh the Gala engine, and then they're just throwing support back into it. Just kind of seems weird.
Yes. Same thing with Royal Knights. It's like you just hit Royal Knights, you just hit Sakuyamon, and then you're immediately giving them support that's gonna undo what you just did. So it's just like look, you really need to figure things out better, Bandai. In terms of your planning. I mean, granted, they're not planning on these cards getting hit, but like at the same time, they they know what's degenerate and they keep doing the same mistakes anyway because it sells. So it just feels like a very unhealthy relationship. At least like if you're caring about the actual meta game, which I've been removed myself from the tournament scene, and it is so refreshing not needing to be super sweaty or worry about the meta game, um, because like that shit's degrading on your brain. And like part of it, like, yes, I can't unwire myself to have not a competitive mindset. Unfortunately, that's just after 4 years of Digimon competitive at a high level, that's just who I am. So I do like, again, I apologize if I'm sounding condescending. I don't mean to be. It's just from a competitive player, this is what I look for and this is what I look at. And like
Yeah, because I mean,
as a card designer also, like I know how these mistakes happen and it's just a complete sheer lack of foresight. That's the lamest way I could explain it is they just did not think things through or test things through.
yeah, because I mean, to me right now, it's just nothing in the meta seems interesting to play. I mean, the locals I went to a couple weeks ago, I literally just wanted to try something different because beforehand I tried playing Chronicles. Chronicles not just able to compete with what's currently out there at the time. So I thought, okay, I'll bring in Omni DNA. It's something I rarely like. I don't really play red or blue. It's the closest thing that looks like somewhat having fun for me, but also still being a what's the word I'm looking for here? Viable,
Yeah.
but I still didn't even. I don't know if it's maybe because I didn't have any of a whole lot of the new 22 cards, like the Agumons, for example, and the Gabumons,
Oh, you need
and
those.
the war.
That's crucial.
Yeah, yeah, because I was running the ones from what was it, BT16,
17.
17, yeah. Like those were the ones I just had at the time. So maybe that was just my mistake on when it came to that. So
I mean, you could play it that way. It's just significantly not as good because Nokia is basically solving that issue where it's just like
oh,
beforehand.
I
Yeah.
had the Nokias.
Oh, well, you still needed the CS cards because the CS cards are just extra consistency. So seeing more Agus, more Gabus, and having alternative ways to be able to play your cards is just a godsend because the CS stuff, while it's doing something similar to the Agus and Gabus, those are hard locked to mat, and if you don't have mat, you're not playing the game. I'm sorry. So there's one of the big problems. So you have to have the CS stuff because they're more generically useful. But that deck also Omnimon did also just get better. Because it got a new Greymon and Garurumon that allows them to de-digivolve themselves to play the Tamer out for free. So maybe now we don't need to hardcore rely on like weird gimmicky tools like Mirai. I mean, Mirai's okay. Discard a CS to draw two, like, and then play Nokia for free later. It's not bad. It's just I don't know. Now you have other play lines you can make. especially with Digital Gate Open. That's something for my Omnimon deck I want to experiment is Digital Gate Open, because if I now have the Greymon and Garurumon to be able to use to play out Nokia for free, I need a way to play Mad Out for free, and Digital Gate Open seems like it's very good for that slot because it also is searching. And then I can hide the mat because I'm not getting any mat for him just sitting on the field most of the time. The only real value is when I'm actually using it when I'm comboing off. So I think like hiding it behind a digital gate is going to be very good. So a lot of experimentation, a lot of changes coming to the format. And I'm excited to see what changes are actually going to happen. But like my big fear is we're just going to have BT23 be just another stale, stagnant format. Because if we look at the majority of the current top decks, like Rocks was the newest inclusion, along with I guess technically Genkumon, because that deck really only found its stride in BT22 and it was saw like light testing in BT21. Um, but Rocks and Machine Dramon are really the only two newish decks, and Machine Dramon I'm saying loosely because I'm lumping it with DM Machine Dramon versus like the old style Machine Dramon, which is still perfectly viable. So like Rocks and DM Machine Dramon are the only new things that we've been playing with. Everything we've been playing with in terms of what's actually been competing in the meta has been around since EX8. So it's just like, yeah, yeah, it's getting a little. Some decks are even older. So like Leviamon, that's EX5, and the deck has barely seen any changes in iterations. Then you have Pyildramon or Imperial Dramon. That's EX6 or not. I was gonna say like EX8, but I didn't get anything in EX8. It was more BT17 that brought it in its current state, and then it stayed there. So keep in mind, BT17 was literally a year ago, almost from the date. So like some of these meta decks we've been playing for like a year to almost 2 years. Some of them are a little bit more recent, like 6 months ago, but even then, 6 months of the same deck over and over again with small little updates, making them even more broken, isn't necessarily what I would define as the most enjoyable competitive experience. From a casual experience, the game is great. I will love dunking on every single Lucamon deck I come across, in terms of like absolutely wrecking them with anything I play. It's an absolute blast and joy to me knowing that I could play around Lucamon so perfectly. Um, but like from a competitive perspective, that knowledge does literally nothing because nobody's playing Lucamon competitively. So that's kind of where my like personal conflicts are at.
Yeah, I mean, I did take a break from Digimon myself. Like I was even trying to get into the Gundam TCG because I mean I like Gundam and the TCG. I thought, hey, maybe it could be a fresh new start. I didn't get that far into it. I think I went to the pre-release once, and unfortunately, the event just never ever worked for me again with my schedule. And I was like, during the time, I was thinking, okay, is it even worth even trying to invest into the Gundam? And then the whole spew about the Iron-Blooded Orphan starter deck, and it was just like the prices of everything just keep on shifting. I'm like, you know what? This is not. I'm not getting into this. It's like I'm not gonna save these cards. I'm not going to invest in these. I'm just going to go ahead sell them because the Gundam TCG. I thought maybe there could have been a chance that I could have tried to get into a whole new community. Maybe I could have been playing like maybe two games theoretically, having one as a fun game and then one being as my competitive. But the Gundam just unfortunately didn't work out for me. And as far as Digimon, like um there was a store tournament that I saw that was like kind of near me. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and try and register for this, and maybe I could try to have fun. Maybe give myself that spark back because I'm just I don't like playing the online. I prefer in person. That's just how I play. And it's like I saw that, oh, you didn't get in. You're in the wait list. Like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and withdraw with this. I'm not going to try to head to an event that only has 32 cap and be on a wait list and probably not even get in for it. Like if it was 64, maybe I would have had a better shot.
See, that's where you gotta be like me and just know the TO. And I mean, granted, I knew the TO from my days in college because he works part time at the card shop and he runs their events. So he lets me slide in real easily, and he gives me the heads up where it's just like, hey, I can't let you slide in, but this is when signups are live, so make sure to sign up in time. So that's how I'm able to get into my like store regionals and whatnot. Although now we have one in Ann Arbor, so um, I'm curious to see how that one's gonna play out. So, cause like it's weird. On Saturday, I'm gonna have to go all the way to Grand Rapids. Um, if anyone's a Michigan person, I do live in Michigan. Spoiler. But I'm gonna have to go all the way to Grand Rapids for Saturday's event, and then Sunday I'm gonna have to on the way home hit up Ann Arbor, and I might be able to make it to that event. So I'll be double dipping on my competitive Digimon, and I'm still debating on what deck I'm gonna be taking to those, but I'm definitely gonna be trying to compete just in those, because like I could have competed in the online stuff, but that was when I was doing like my Digimon break, and I really was not feeling the competitive scene, and knowing that the competitive scene literally hasn't changed since I left, and if anything only gotten worse in terms of like how we're playing and the meta decks that we're playing, and like what a good meta environment is. It didn't give me a lot of confidence, but playing lower level Digimon and like having fun with chat and experimenting with decks is just a lot of fun still. I will say that.
Yeah, because I know you've been posting a lot of videos about what are they, underrated decks or decks to have fun with still and everything. So you definitely are taking a lot more casual approach to the game for from what it looks like on your videos.
That's what I'm trying to do, like, cuz coming at things from a competitive mindset and knowing how to improve it and knowing where the improvements are and then watching none of it actually get better is incredibly frustrating. It's literally what the Pokemon community is going through with ZA, where it's just like now they understand that their game could be better, but the Pokemon Company is actively making the worst possible game they could possibly do and putting the bare minimum amount of effort into it, and then hoping that they make millions upon billions of dollars, which is what they're doing anyway. And some people are now starting to realize, like, oh, that's not acceptable. And that's why, like, a lot of other TCG communities, it's not specifically just a Digimon problem, are having their own competitive woes, where it's just like Magic the Gathering, as an example. They are now actually releasing 7 sets a year. We've been experiencing that for at least a year, 2 years already at this point. So, like, we're more accustomed to it. It's still not good. Trust by any stretch of the means. It's not good. That's too many cards too quickly. Wallet fatigue is definitely kicking in, and the meta is so much harder to control with more sets and more cards coming in, that like that's the big proprietor on what's making power creep go absolutely crazy, is just how fast they're shitting out sets and how unchecked they are, because they have to keep producing more and more and more, faster, faster, faster. So like Magic the Gathering is starting to realize this. They're starting to. People with VV are like, "Oh crap. VV came out like in early summer, and now they're going to have to wait until late November, or like now it's bumped up to mid-November in order for that problem to be fixed." But think of how many sets are going to be like absolutely destroyed and bodied in the wake of that type of card. And like we're already seeing that with Spider-Man as an example. Again, this is just an example from another card game where it's not exclusively a Digimon problem. It's just the need to push out more things is what makes power creep go unchecked easier, which is why, to combat that, they need to introduce more frequent bans and restrictions. It doesn't have to be 20, 15, cards like the last couple of ones, because the list has been growing and growing in terms of how many cards they're hitting at once, because they need to, because all those problems are piling up. Instead of taking it the quicker and more proactive way of hitting things, not necessarily the second it comes out, like wait a set, like a main set, and then hit it. So like that's why I think every 3 to 4 months we need a ban and restriction update, because think of how much refreshing BT13, or not BT13, BT23 would be of an experience if they just hit like, oh, we're going to hit Growlmon X antibody. Let's see how that changes the entire context of the format. So like I think that would be a good net positive for the game. And the fact that Bandai is not doing that and Magic is starting to realize we might need to do that really is telling.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is the fact that I don't know if you want to go into the whole spiel about Pokemon ZA versus the Digimon Time Stranger, but the fact that even more people are getting drawn into the Digimon Time Stranger for multitude of reasons. Because I think last time I saw, like within the first week of Time Stranger, it had 85,000 players on Steam that bought it and everything, which surpassed like the last Digimon game being Hacker's Memory being at 65. So it's like already that's like 20,000 more people than the previous game. And that's just on Steam. That's not on PlayStation. That's not on Xbox. We don't know the whole number, so to say. Um, so
No,
like a
that's
lot of
very
people have like a lot of people have now just been exposed to Digimon because you have even content creators that are even just going and comparing and saying like, oh, they're using the Digimon Time Stranger as example, and we even have the anime that is bringing people in too now. These people are gonna eventually see that there's a card game and they're gonna be interested in it. So
no. I
it only
100
makes sense.
I 100% agree, and I like, as much as I hate comparing apples to oranges because they are two completely different franchises. Yes, they kind of occupy a similar niche, but they are two completely different franchises and two completely different games. But like Bandai as a company, they love playing things as safe as humanly possible. I'm trying to word things tactfully here. They love playing things as safe as humanly possible. So they will hold IPs and games hostage where it's just like, if this doesn't perform, you are not getting another one. Or either that or the inverse, where it's just like, oh, in order for us to hold on to this IP, we have to poop out slop every year, which is what happened with Dragon Ball. That's why there's so many awful Dragon Ball games, is because none of them got any love or attention, and they're just like, look, we just need to get a Dragon Ball game out to put our check mark in to keep the IP. Um, and Digimon's not in that camp, and that's why Time Strangers was like years in development, and it really shows the love and care that they put into it. And maybe this will put the fire under Bandai's butt to be like, people like and want Digimon content, and you're depriving them of that, which means you're depriving yourself of money. So maybe they could do better now. So I don't know. It's a hope. It's a dream. And if it took Pokemon messing up, or I mean, it's not like they actually did anything different. They literally didn't do anything different, and that was part of the problem. Because Pokemon's budget is like incredibly small, and they make like oodles upon oodles of money. It's absolutely disgusting how Pokemon Company has been treating their customer base. Not saying Bandai's much different, but because Pokemon's basically like the Call of Duty of Nintendo, and Digimon is Digimon, I guess. They just do what they want when they want and when they feel like it'll make them money. So hopefully that'll change with this month, with a lot of the Digimon zeitgeist being shooken up, and a lot more people being introduced into it. So I think that's a good note to leave things off on. Don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so outside of the meta being pretty medium, I think the game is still in a fine state. Could it be better? Yes, but again, that's only from the competitive perspective. Um, and I'm curious to see what kind of hype this month is able to carry Digimon, because there's just a lot of Digi stuff going on right now, and that makes me happy, to be honest. So, thank you everyone for listening. I'm hoping to continue the podcast. I don't know how frequent it's going to be. That's up in the air because things are obviously still in flux, and I just wanted to be forefront and honest about that. So I'm going to try to shoot for it being like it was, but I'm not going to guarantee anything. So episodes may come out every week, or they may come out every other week or every month. It really just depends on how things play out. So just wanted to put that disclaimer out towards the end. But we respect and love every single one of our listeners still. Thank you all for watching and listening, and we hope to see you all in the next one. Later.